My beloved child, I saw the moment your heart drifted, and I never looked away. You made a choice that felt small, yet it echoed through your destiny. Now I am calling you, not to shame, but to return. Because if you stay with me through this message, I will show you the hidden moment where you veered, and the holy path I've already prepared to lead you back. Do not scroll. Do not delay. What you hear next may be the very word that saves your purpose from slipping away. I recognize you had no intention of opposing me. I perceive that clearly. But in the midst of hurried schedules, invisible demands, and fear of being overlooked, you heeded emotional impulses instead of heeding the quiet prompting I placed within you. Recall those times when something felt slightly off, regardless of appearances being proper on the surface? That hushed discomfort, that subtle caution in your spirit, it was not a random feeling. It was me. That was my spirit's whisper, seeking to pull you back before things went too far. But you dismissed it, concluding you were overanalyzing, trusting all would be all right, believing it would resolve in due course. You proceeded without pausing to seek me, and from that very decision point, you began drifting away from the stream of grace I had bestowed upon your life. Your error lies not solely in that deed, but in the instance you closed your ears to me, when you started relying on your own capacity to steer, assuming you could handle things by your own intellect. Dearest, what pains me even more than the flawed choice itself is that you ceased coming to me. You started believing that if your motives were honorable, I would simply endorse every direction you took. Yet, you neglected to remember, I do not solely look for correct conduct. I seek a heart that is surrendered, that tunes in and yields. If you choose not to listen to me at this juncture, consequences will arise that no other person can shoulder for you. Not meant as retribution, but simply the tangible outcome of turning away from my counsel. The door you stepped through could guide you into dead ends, into complications not from me, and burdens never intended for you. However, I remain here, eager to intervene and draw you back to life's pathway, because it is never beyond hope once you decide to return. My child, I do not ask for flawless performance from you. What I yearn for is the brief pause you take upon realizing you have veered off track. I yearn for the moment you turn back, heart pliable and open, allowing me to restore and heal. I do not fear beginning anew with you. All I need is your admission that you rely on me, that no plan is wiser than walking beneath the guidance of the one who foresees every bend in the road. Do not permit disgrace to bind you in silence. Do not let guilt drive you away. The enemy will attempt to exploit your slip, to plant lies that you have lost your value, that your failure is final, that everything is gone. But I declare the very opposite. Right here, at the brink of confronting results and solemnly conceding what you have done, is precisely where I can begin to bring wonders forth within you. I do not construct on fantasy, but on truth. And once you emerge from hiding, I will move in, undertaking the work of your healing. You might wonder, where do I start? How can I mend the damage done? The remedy isn't in efforts to rectify your error, but in humbly coming to me, giving you room to accomplish what you cannot. Begin by listening again. Turn down the clamor around you. Withdraw from the rationalizations in your mind. Return to that place of stillness where you and I commune. Let me speak. Let me illuminate your path forward. You will be astonished to see that my grace is not merely ample to pardon, but also to revive, reconstruct, and begin a new chapter, infinitely more splendid than you ever dared to imagine. Your mistakes do not define you. My enduring love for you does. Fear not revisiting the past, but do not reside there either. Recognizing a misstep is meant to set you free, not to torment you. Each time you display the courage to admit a fault, you grant me permission to enter with boundless creativity. And if you permit my guidance, I will convert what looked like failure into the cornerstones of an existence that gleams brighter than ever before. Thus, beloved child, waste no more time. Do not let pride stand in the way of returning. Today, accept my message as a freshly woven garment of pardon, favor, and unconditional love. Arise, come home, and let me show you how to walk once again on the correct path, toward your most authentic self, toward the sacred destiny for which you were fashioned, in all its completeness. For I am the God of restoration, and I am waiting for you without ceasing. I perceive your heart and the influence of your words. I understand that you had no desire to harm anyone. I see plainly that your words did not originate from resentment, but rather from a heart that is at times drained, occasionally protective, and occasionally propelled by unprocessed emotions. But even if there was no deliberate intention to wound, hidden damage may still have taken root. I want you to grasp this, not to break your spirit, but to awaken you to the genuine power encapsulated in your speech. You hold far greater power in your words than you comprehend. Every statement you speak can be likened to a gust of wind. It may refresh and uplift, or it may be a chilling breeze grazing a vulnerable wound in another soul. My aim is not for you to speak in constant trepidation, but rather to live in godly insight, where each word flows through love, shaped by gentle attentiveness to the Holy Spirit, and molded by genuine empathy. Remember, it was I who originated language. The capacity to communicate was granted to you not for tearing relationships apart, but for forging supportive connections. Not for proving yourself, but for nurturing others in love. Are you aware that a single hasty remark, however brief, may plant uncertainty in another's mind? The adversary is always alert for precisely such opportunities. Those instants you remain unguarded, those fleeting instances before my peace has truly settled in your heart, so he can discreetly scatter seeds of hostility. He does not have to shout. He only needs a tiny fissure between two hearts, a heedless word left unresolved. From that point, he magnifies the ache, twists the misapprehension, and gradually drives apart those who were once closely knit, pushing them into mute estrangement. I perceive it all. I do not only see the individual who has been wounded, I also see you, weighed down by regret and remorse. I do not condemn you because I know you never intended harm. Neither do I judge you, for I understand your heart still yearns for goodness and sincerity. Yet I do want you to gain this crucial insight. Once words escape your lips, there is no return. So train yourself to offer words of life, not destruction, that usher in harmony rather than additional hurt. My dear child, do not dismiss your misstep. Show the bravery to confront it, not for the sake of punishment, but for the sake of transformation. I do not demand that you impose discipline upon yourself for what happened. I summon you to truthfulness. Present yourself to me and say, Lord, I admit my wrongdoing. I didn't mean to, but I caused pain. Show me how to fix what has been damaged. You will see, I am the one who reconstructs, the one who shapes fragments into masterpieces. I am the one able to turn a heartfelt apology into a conduit that repairs what appeared irreparably severed. If you have wounded someone, do not wait for them to seek you out. Let it begin with you, embarking on the conversation that might restore harmony. Not because you shoulder all blame, but because you have realized how deeply I value unity among my children. Take that initial step with humility. Reach out, offer a sincere inquiry, and apologize if necessary. Even if the other person remains unready to forgive, keep your heart tender. You have sown peace, leaving the remainder to me. You must also learn the essence of self-forgiveness. Steer clear of punishing yourself in secret with guilt. The moment you approach me in honest contrition, I forgive you. If I, the Holy God, refuse to keep bringing it up, so should you. Refuse to be shackled by your past. Forgiveness isn't about excusing wrongdoing. It's the threshold where divine grace walks in. It is the sacred moment wherein you allow me to pick you up from your failure's depths, making you stronger, more compassionate, and more refined than before. From now on, let your words carry the wisdom of experience, combined with the mildness of mercy and the luminosity of truth. Learn how to speak life. Choose silence when turmoil floods your inner world, and know how to speak truth lovingly, never in anger or defensive posture. You were not created merely to defend positions, but to proclaim peace, restoration, and life. My beloved, this serves as both a reminder and an invitation. Step into a deeper maturity where your speech isn't merely sound, but an extension of my healing power in the world. Once you devote your words to me, permitting your mouth to become a conduit of virtue, the atmosphere will begin to shift with what you declare, not by the power of argument, but by the potency of my presence residing in you. Go forward, child of mine, humbly and with a mind renewed. Let every word you utter be a beam of brightness. Believe this. Once you allow my purification to touch your lips, your speech will be transformed, and through that, the small circle of life around you will undergo its own slow but sure healing. You are my herald, entrusted not just with my word, but with my heart toward humanity. Finding the flow of obedience again. My dear one, I now urge you to find stillness once again, not to rehash previous wounds, but for me, with infinite love, to gently guide you back to that moment you inadvertently drifted away from the current of obedience. There is a truth I long for you to behold, tenderly and sincerely. You hesitated when confronted with a seemingly minor act, which, in my eyes, carried substantial weight, a deed I placed in your heart through my divine urging. Yet you allowed that opportunity to slip away, thinking it inconsequential, lacking urgency, or merely ill-timed. Remember the instant your heart felt abruptly stirred, a crisp, profound feeling sweeping over you, pulse pounding as if something deep inside was awakening? That was no fluke thought, and not mere accident. That was the soft yet compelling voice of my Holy Spirit tapping your heart, delivering a beckoning toward obedience. It could have been the simplest act, a short message, an intercessory prayer, a small step towards another individual, or an action so unremarkable in worldly terms, yet so crucial in the spiritual domain that it served as a vital key to unlock a string of outcomes I had orchestrated in advance. You perceived it, you felt it distinctly, but then logic intervened. The part of you that refuses to relinquish control, always needing justification and reason. It persuaded you to wait, to assume someone else surely felt that same nudge, and maybe they would take action instead. Perhaps you decided you were not adequately prepared, or it was not quite the right timing. With every such line of reasoning, every rationalization, that radiant spark dwindled. Your heart, which only moments earlier blazed with fervent sensitivity, grew muted. Then you turned aside, preferring comfort over prompt obedience. My beloved, I am not highlighting this to burden you with guilt, but to show you a reality. Nothing in my kingdom is insignificant if prompted by obedience. A straightforward deed performed promptly and faithfully can alter the path of a life, encourage a single soul, or ripple through entire generations. I do not place these matters on your heart to make you guess if you heard correctly. It is my gentle invitation to partner with me in eternal endeavors. Every demonstration of obedience is a golden link in the chain of destiny. When you postpone, you lose not just the act itself, but the growth of your inner being, the heightened perception, spiritual clarity, and trust in recognizing my voice. In that space of reluctance, the enemy capitalizes, sowing deeper doubts in your heart. Was that really God? If so, wouldn't someone else confirm it? Am I just imagining things? No, dear one, you did not invent it. You truly heard me. I truly reached out to you. I entrusted you with a fragment of my work. Even though you missed that precise point, I remain here, patient, compassionate, ready to entrust you again with fresh promptings, should you be inclined to act this time. Let this be the key lesson. Obedience is rarely convenient, rarely applauded, and rarely visible for all to see. Yet it is invariably the correct course within my kingdom. I did not call you to impress, but to be purposeful in my hands. Genuine purpose hinges on your willingness to obey at once, even in the little things. Going forward, I desire you to remain deeply sensitive to my nudges. Whenever your heart feels that divine push, sensing an action you should take, do not procrastinate. Pause briefly, ask me for clarity, and if the call is from me, then proceed. Do not wait on human validation. Do not stall until you feel fully equipped. Obedience rarely springs from perceived readiness. It grows out of trusting the one who calls. My precious child, your errors do not determine your identity, but your reaction after stumbling will decide your direction. I do not look to you for perfection, but rather for openness to correction, a soul that is teachable, and a spirit that runs back to me the moment it drifts. Today, I am urging more than reflection. I am encouraging forward motion. Enter the next chapter with renewed confidence and enriched wisdom and gratitude in your heart, for I do not let any obedient act go to waste. Be solid, remain attentive, and let me continue to compose your life's narrative, a story not buried under reluctance, but one made beautiful by your humble return and determined resolve. A soul brought across your path. The individual I guided into your life was not a casual event or a fleeting intersection meant to vanish. That person bears a concealed struggle, one only you and I truly grasp, a sorrow, a dilemma, an invisible burden they carry daily. You have been poised, molded, and prepared to be a vessel of solace for them. You were given the privilege of briefly alleviating that load through a gentle word, a modest act of goodness, or a small demonstration of compassion. Had you chosen to obey, it might have been a beam of hope cutting through the dense clouds overshadowing their heart. Have you realized, my child, that my power does not always descend through overwhelming gales or miraculous wonders? On numerous occasions, I choose to manifest in subtlety, through gestures the world labels insignificant, an encouraging phrase at the exact moment, a kind-hearted smile, a silent offering of your hand. I invited you to represent my mercy in a personal way for this individual. You felt that inner stirring, did you not? Yet hesitation appeared in the form of thoughts like, "It's only a small act, maybe another time," persuading you to walk away. In so doing, what I had intended to sow through you failed to take root. Beloved, you may believe it was inconsequential, but in my kingdom, nothing prompted by obedience is ever inconsequential. A butterfly's faint flutter can, in time, nudge vast weather systems. Likewise, a quiet, loyal act can set off a trail of spiritual changes in another's life. When you dismiss my voice in something deemed minimal, not only is that chance lost, but so is the possibility of reaching a precious soul, a soul I cherish deeply, one crying out for the light I hoped you would deliver. I speak this without condemnation. My ways never revolve around accusations. My heart leans toward restoring, not accusing. Nonetheless, I desire that you comprehend. Everything I impress upon your heart, though undetected by others or overshadowed by daily bustle, is inscribed with eternal significance. Every faithful deed in my name, even if unseen by human observation, reverberates through heaven. Each neglected opportunity also stalls a measure of my love, hindering it from entering the flow of grace. Dearest child, I know you were not deliberately negligent, and you did not mean to disregard, but it is now time for you to absorb a more profound truth. Authentic faith isn't measured by sudden surges of emotion, but by steadfast obedience in small matters. Reflect on my choice to use you in someone's life. I do not misjudge. I see your genuine empathy, your heart that trembles at another's pain, but I also see your need to respond instantly whenever I speak, resisting the urge to overthink and thereby stray from my prompting. That person's burden still persists, and you still have an opening to help. It is never too late to come back. Hurt may have surfaced, and your lack of response may have deepened their loneliness. But remember, I am the Lord who mends. I can revive what's grown weary. I can transform a sincere apology or a caring act into the thread that repairs the tear resulting from your absence. If you find the courage to admit, "I'm sorry for not listening sooner," you will witness wonders, not just in that person, but within your own heart. I never cease beckoning you toward a continuous journey of love and obedience, a path less about praise and more about true significance in my eyes. I do not ask that you perform grand feats. I only ask that you respond when I call, because each small instance of obedience becomes a bridge for my grace to cross into the frail and desperate hearts awaiting my touch. My child, dwell in a love that stays acutely sensitive. Train your ears for the faint sounds of my spirit. Do not act merely when convenient, but because you recognize my voice reaching out. Each time you commit to following my lead, you lift someone else's burdens while simultaneously freeing your own soul from regrets, missed openings, and the ache of if only. Beloved, never sink into despair. I see you fully, along with the conflicts in your mind. I draw near, not with a condemning decree, but with arms outstretched, longing to welcome you back. Understand that my grace has never waned. It is not simply enough, it overflows, covering your hesitations, your lapses, and even those intervals when you lacked bravery to do right upon hearing my subtle call. My grace is no fragile filament, easily broken. It is as fortified as a strong wall, sheltering you in your fatigue. It is not intended to be a reason to remain in your own ways. It is the constant reminder that even when you stumble, I am ready to uphold you, wipe away your tears, and walk anew at your side. For I am a tender-hearted father who would never forsake his child merely because growth is not yet complete. My dear one, the aim of my words now is not to cloak you in shame, nor to lock you in guilt and self-reproach. The aim is simply yet powerfully motivated by love, to guide you home, reorient your steps, and launch you into the marvelous plan I laid out for you before your life began. You have not gone beyond my reach. You are not so tardy as to annul my capacity to restore. Should you place each detour in my hands, I will make it the springboard for an even more radiant, genuine, and meaningful road forward. Those intervals you labeled irredeemable are, from my vantage point, fertile ground for your faith to establish its roots and flourish. You have not truly failed. You are in training. You are not adrift. You are in refining. This shaping may sting occasionally, but it confirms my deep affection, preventing me from allowing your wayward steps to carry you further from me. A devoted father does not quietly watch his child wander into peril without calling out in warning. Likewise, with compassion brimming in my heart, I cannot remain silent as you drift from the light. I must invite you to return. Your mistakes, however immense they appear, factor into the field of development I am cultivating. My love for you does not stem from your unblemished record. I love you simply because you are mine. That unwavering love is the bedrock upon which I rebuild what was shattered, turning it into the reliable platform for glorious things awaiting your future. Every slip-up is a poignant reminder to heed me more carefully, progress more steadily, and trust more profoundly in my voice. No event in your life is mere chance. Each moment extends an opportunity to sharpen spiritual hearing, cultivate sensitivity to my Holy Spirit's guidance, and act swiftly. Let your stumbles become pointers marking significant milestones in your spiritual pilgrimage, rather than shackles tying you to remorse. Let them broadcast my unending kindness and the steadfast forbearance of the one who still believes in the immense worth I placed in you. Do not obsess over lost opportunities. Direct your gaze toward what I still aspire to accomplish in you. If you will simply let me once again hold your hand and direct your steps. From this day onward, adopt the mindset of one pardoned, cherished, and raised up to carry on walking. Do not clutch yesterday's burdens if I've already lifted them from your shoulders. Embrace the boldness that emerges from being reborn in grace. Live as though every passing instant is fresh ground for obedience, compassion, healing, and fulfilling my purpose for you. Always bear in mind that the smallest, most immediate obedience is the most compelling act of faith. You do not undertake this return trip unaccompanied. I am here. I have always been here. As your footsteps regain their stability, as you determine once more to tread the obedient path, I will restore the joy you thought had vanished, the tranquility you believed had slipped away, and an invigorated conviction that your life remains guided not by mere circumstance, but by the one who discerns every subtle pulse of your heart. Thus, beloved child, lift your eyes, cast off the posture of shame, look upward with renewed hope. Your journey stands restored before you, crowned with a future I have shaped in my unending love, steered by my hand, and radiant with my splendor. In each pace I will accompany you. At each sigh, I am listening, and at every gentle plea, I will answer. Because you are mine, and nothing can ever sever you from the love I have poured upon you. Love that endures beyond your failures, safeguarded by my unfailing compassion. In the quiet battles of your heart, my precious one, I see the realities you endure. I understand the silent turmoil haunting your innermost thoughts, the inward strife known only to me. There are temptations you face, particularly when you are frail. Crossroads that test whether you will opt for the easy course or the narrower way. Even so, each time you fumble or your strength collapses midway, I have not departed from your side. I stay near, perhaps silent yet unwavering, tender but resolute, watching for when you will glance up and see my ever-present hand still reaching out, waiting to support you once more. At this moment, though, child, I want you to truly listen, not with your physical ears alone, but with your entire being. I love you too dearly to let you continue stumbling until you stop recognizing it as stumbling. I cannot stand by while you acclimate to repeated missteps, eventually seeing them as normal. I do not want your conscience to go numb to my voice, so you no longer sense the pang of straying. Hence, I speak with gentleness, yet pressing concern. Derive lessons from past events. Draw growth out of past points of failure. A slip-up does not serve as the final chapter, but it can become a prison if you never let it teach you. Each misjudgment creates a crossroads. You can allow it to morph into a perpetual scar, or you can let it become the bedrock of your spiritual maturity. I call you to the latter course. Permit your failings to serve as a mirror, prompting self-examination rather than weights binding your heart. Let them instruct you that timely obedience to my voice carries unimaginable force. Obedience is not merely the better path, it is the declaration of a more evolved faith, a faith that no longer demands thorough justification, no longer bargains for extra time, but rests content with even one whispered directive from me. Child of mine, sudden obedience does not come easily. It necessitates relinquishing comfort, setting aside your right to delay, and placing confidence in my instructions as the route to something grander than the cost you fear. Yet precisely within that immediate submission, you find an unearthly elegance, a gem the world cannot fathom, the splendor of a heart molded by my holiness, a soul that has discovered the blessing in bowing low, that it might be exalted into true wonder. Moreover, it is not just your actions, but also your speech that resonates eternally. Every phrase you speak can refresh a parched spirit like a cold spring, or it can burn away the last smolder of hope in a discouraged soul. I invite you to bathe your lips in grace. Allow compassion and kindness to define all you say. When your words come marinated in grace, they become vehicles of mending, beacons of invitation, and perhaps even the first breeze of life for those oppressed by gloom. I bid you to explore deeper communion with me, a realm where you stand firm, unshaken by your volatile feelings, grounded in the stable faith of maturity. In that holy place, you will recognize my voice and answer in the manner of a child thoroughly familiar with the presence of a loving father. Your journey shall be marked by assurance, anchored in the certainty that my call is never futile, and I never summon you without eternal purpose. Beloved, the gentle discipline you sense today is not a mark of rejection. Rather, it is the strongest evidence of your belonging to me. My child is so beloved that I cannot turn away as you slip toward weariness. I correct you not to break your spirit, but to strengthen it. I remind you not to strike fear, but to usher you into genuine liberty, freedom from the shackles of your earlier stumbles, propelled by new mercies that bloom fresh every dawn. You need not be without flaws to be used. You need only to retain a heart pliable enough for reformation. Once you grant me that permission, You will soon realize that what seems like defeat today will metamorphose into triumph tomorrow. Not because you found hidden reserves of strength, but because I am the one who remains unwavering in cultivating the great work I began in you. Rise now, my dear child. Let your yesterdays become steps upward, not weights around your ankles. Let each lesson turn into bricks on the route guiding you ever closer to the completeness I have intended for you. Let my voice, imbued with love, affirmation, and gentle urging, drown out every competing noise, every uncertainty, and each inner strife. Life-changing decisions along your way. My dearest one, the road in front of you will bring multiple turning points. Some will arrive like a trumpet blast, while others hide themselves within mundane day-to-day choices. Bear in mind, not a single decision escapes my concern, nor is there any predicament too vast that would cause me to step back. In all you do, your words, your deeds, even in the quiet intervals of contemplation, I am right there. You must not imagine me present only in your showiest accomplishments. I am not just in your crowning moments, but also in your regular routines. Every time you opt for kindness when it is simpler to remain silent. Every time you bow in prayer instead of getting wrapped up in diversions. Every time you decide to let go of offense instead of harboring it. Every choice, whether grand or subtle, ripples into eternity, and I stand by you for all of it, whispering, select the right path, walk in the light. Child, do not let the simplicity of a moment trick you into assuming it is unimportant. Frequently, it is in your smallest decisions that I train you to differentiate the good from the not yet whole. Each instance you fight off self-centeredness, choosing to listen with understanding rather than responding impulsively, choosing a wise silence in place of hasty words. Those are the times my likeness is etched onto your spirit, piece by piece. You will encounter moments of heaviness too, realizing how critical the choice before you is. You might see two plausible paths, each accepted by general logic, yet you will feel a tremor in your soul. Then arises the temptation to rely on practicality, past successes, or emotional preference. I, however, invite you to ascend into something higher, the road of genuine faith, a total reliance on me. Remember that genuine faith is not thoughtlessness, but the offering of your understanding to my sovereignty. You will often be in the dark about my designs, maybe even concluding that my guidance defies logic or nudges you beyond comfort's boundary. But if you entrust me with more than lip service, if you trust me with tangible choices, you will see that I never usher you into darkness. I am the creator of ways through seas, the one who speaks a single word and levels mountains, the one who transforms the seemingly futile into timely wonders. I am aware of every choice that keeps you up at night. I see every hour of wavering, each silent attempt to find confidence. But I also see what lies beneath. You are learning to rely on me, and that pleases me profoundly. For a heart that embraces guidance is donned in humility, and the humble in spirit will always receive my ample grace. You do not require exhaustive knowledge to proceed. All you must grasp is that my hand is clasping yours, and that truth alone is sufficient. My dear child, when you commit your future into my keeping, I will pave each lopsided road before you, not by erasing trials, but by giving you sure footing to conquer them. I never vowed a trouble-free life, but I promise you this: you need never face those pivotal choices alone. If you call out for it, I will supply wisdom. When you arrive at the moment of decision, I will place the needed words in your mouth. I will shut doors you must not enter, and open those I predestined for you, even before you knew you needed them. Do not be intimidated if my leading collides with other people's assumptions about you. Do not measure my instructions by any person's affirmation. The whisper of heaven often arrives so softly that only hearts tuned into the Spirit notice it. Your goal is not universal acceptance. You only need to follow the one who knows all. So when you are poised for a decision, refuse to move under external compulsion. Find a sanctuary of calm, pray, settle your soul under my watch, and wait for peace to descend like dew upon you. That peace is not triggered by comfortable outcomes, but by the deep awareness that you are acting in accordance with my will. Guard that peace. It will shield your heart amid chaos, clamoring opinions, and swirling concerns. My beloved child, you stand without isolation. Each time you pause, I wait with understanding. Each time you question, I hear attentively. Each time you align yourself with my directions, I rejoice. Each time you wander away, I wait steadfastly, calling you to return. The coming days will present many prospects. Some will entail summoning the bravery to speak no, while others will call for the conviction to proclaim yes. But you need not be afraid. If I remain the focal point, the yardstick, the guidepost for each decision, then you will consistently walk in the light. That light will also shine past your own feet, helping guide those exhausted souls seeking the path. Therefore, remain tender in heart. Place no trust in fleeting emotional states, but in me, the infallible one, the immovable one, who continually knows your ultimate good. That way, every choice you make will echo praise. Every deed will reverberate with heavenly insight, and every plan of action will attest that you are not merely existing but following the holy intentions of the one who fashioned you. Let these words sink in like a refreshing rain on parched ground. I am inviting you into a deeper union, a relationship built not on routine or momentary passion, but on an undivided pursuit of me. I do not yearn for superficial rites. I yearn for a heart ablaze, a soul that craves my presence above any gifts I distribute, longing for me alone, the lover of your being, the one you need beyond measure. Let a new yearning surge within, compelling you to seek me with fresh devotion, not in shallow or predictable ways, but with true eagerness, open humility, and an earnest thirst for the still small voice in that secret place. Search for me not solely in crisis, but also amid your everyday existence. Learn to discern my voice, not just in thunderous revelations, but often in the profound hush, in subtle cues, in faint proddings within your spirit. And the moment you sense my prompting, no matter how delicate or unassuming, act at once. Do not second guess or procrastinate, hoping for more signs. Do not linger until conditions improve. My summons is not governed by worldly logic. I call so that obedience itself will refine you. Indeed, immediate action, even in the least detail, paves the way for sweeping miracles. My child, I notice your quiet perseverance. I see the struggles you endure in upholding my truth, the times you question your own convictions. But I assure you, none of your diligence will go unnoticed. I shall honor your steadfastness, not by secular criteria, but in the manner that is truly beneficial and exactly on time. That which you deem lost, I can reclaim. The opportunities you think have elapsed, I can reinstate. The words you fear are too late, I can orchestrate perfectly in my sovereign plan. I am the one who recovers miracles, not just outwardly, but in the most intimate recesses of your heart. In fact, it is in these supposed defeats, when you feel most strayed from me, that I quietly lay the groundwork for an even grander unveiling. Your mistakes, given over to my hands, shall no longer tarnish you, but serve as stepping stones. Real, tangible pieces, guiding you onward to a destiny more luminous, more meaningful than anything imagined. You are not characterized by past failings, but by your willingness to let me enter and reorder all things to mirror heaven's blueprint. Still, dear child, for you to step forward, you must confront something that could block your path: pride and fear. Do not let either dampen your progress. Banish pride that resists humility. Reject the dread that stops you from restitution. You need not achieve perfection to earn my love. Simply show honesty, and you will be restored. A contrite heart welcomes my arrival. Courage is essential. Courage to say forgive me, to resume a difficult interaction, to rectify a deed you deem too far gone. That courage holds unmatched transformative power. I know it is difficult to come clean about your faults. I realize pride urges you to guard yourself, terrified of more pain or of seeming small in others' eyes. But hear this: each time you align with righteousness, trembling hands and all, the heavens celebrate. Each time you bow your pride and treat another with love, instead of shielding your own reputation, my kingdom is vibrantly displayed through you. The truth? I have not called you to safeguard your image. I have called you to exhibit mine. My child, advance into the new with the humility to adjust mistakes, to extend love where distance has grown, and to replace doubt with belief. I am never hesitant to use your broken fragments to create something splendid, nor am I hindered by your history. I do not see you under the shadow of your past, but from the perspective of eternal love, the gaze of the one who has known you fully all along. Let this day be when you relinquish what is holding you down. Rise again, heart softened, resolute in living entirely within my plan. Together, we can compose the subsequent lines of your story, not with the ink of unblemished deeds, but with a heart that surrenders, relinquishing the notion of self-sufficiency for the power that emerges from a bond of faith and love. My cherished child, I invite you now to open your heart widely and truly here. My purpose is not to smother you in guilt, but to elevate your countenance with renewed optimism, fresh vitality, and a beginning adorned by a love that is steadfast and unbreakable. I do not celebrate your downfalls. My heart feels the weight of your sorrow, longing for you to lift yourself up, not stained by shame, but bowing in surrender that welcomes my grace. I have planned a walk for you, vibrant with hope, bursting with life, a life beyond mediocrity, above lament over mistakes. Each day you draw breath as a chance from my hand, not to keep score of failures, but to truly live, knowing you have already received pardon, redemption, and continuous guidance from heaven. I am not bidding you to live under the gloom of yesteryear, but urging you to walk in the brilliance of your unfolding transformation, your restoration, and the profound closeness between you and me. Child of mine, my mercy is not just a concept, but a living current bridging the chasms carved by your sins and wrong decisions. Wherever you felt irreversibly lost, wherever you saw no open door, precisely there, my mercy stretches across an unseen but unassailable arm, lifting you from the pit and placing you on the solid ground again. I beckon, not with condemnation, but with a tender invitation, steeped in everlasting love. I don't approach you with a litany of faults, but with a restorative blueprint to once more put possibility in your hands. I want you to thrive anew, to discover genuine liberation, and to know the wholeness I planned for you right from the start. Indeed, child, wayward actions bring forth consequences. I will not deny that, yet I also will not leave you alone to face those results. I do not send you into the tempest and then flee. On the contrary, I enter the storm by your side, sustaining, sharing, bringing healing. Amid what seems irrevocably shattered, I myself will erect something new, piece by piece, connection by connection, hope by hope. My mercy is more than a mere cleansing of your offense. It is the promise that I can mend your wounds. You shall not continue weighed down by what you did. Instead, your experiences shall become an illustration of transformation, no longer shackled by past errors, for in my reality, all that was aged can be rejuvenated. You shall not exist as someone branded by sin, but recognized as one who wears redemption's seal. Child, disregard those who say you have journeyed too long or too far to be brought back. No journey is too extensive if I stand waiting. No pit is too remote that my love fails to find you there. No prior choice can overpower the future I have preordained. The only necessity now is your softened heart, genuinely repentant, and a willingness to be led again. If you let me reach into that guarded space, your memories, your remorse, your unresolved questions, I will transform them into the raw substance of a new dawn, one unburdened by heaviness but enclosed by promise. I will remain at your side not just this season, but your entire lifetime. I will not merely smooth over your errors. I will use them to demonstrate to others that my grace lives, that it is active and mighty enough to uplift any fractured soul into a bearer of hope and radiance for the world. Thus, lift your eyes. Do not hang your head in defeat. Instead, look forward with certainty, that you are acquitted, that renewal has begun, that you are never cast away. You continue to be the one I have designated, the one I treasure, the one I call by name. Therefore stand again, come back to me. Let my mercy cloak you like a fresh garment, akin to the first rainfall soaking toughened soil. Allow my hand to rest on your shoulder, raising you as I say, we will press on together. As you walk onward, you do not move as a person merely pardoned, but as one who is divinely commissioned, with a gentle soul, a humble spirit, and a heart strong enough never to retreat into that darkness which once bound you. I am the compassionate Father, continually addressing you as beloved. Even through missteps, I will keep calling until I see you fully enclosed in my embrace. Confession and the might of renewal. In this hush of my company, let me guide you into a holy step toward mending and rejuvenation. Confession. Not so that you plunge into guilt, but so your soul is finally released from the weight you have long carried. Be transparent about all that went wrong. Confess. Offer up the regrets you hold. Reveal what has been carving at your heart. I have witnessed each part, grasped every detail, yet I've awaited your honesty, not because I lack knowledge, but because you require the sincerity for your healing. Confession is not helpless surrender, but an act of courage and trust. When you confess, you take hold of the truth, and it is within that truth that my grace cascades without ceasing. I am not searching for your excuses. I only look for a truthful heart able to exclaim, Lord, I was at fault. Those words, born in the deepest layers of your being, become the key that opens heaven's doors, unveiling mercy and forgiveness that have been ready for you all along. Do you know, child, that every time a sincere soul appeals for my mercy, my heart swells with uncontained joy? Not because I take pleasure in frailty, but because I see that you have chosen to return to the genuine source of life. You opt for life in place of the torment that arises from bearing your sins. You embrace the earliest steps along a path leading toward restoration. And I, your ever-tender Father, will not reject any crushed, remorseful heart, irrespective of how far you have roamed, how profound your stains, or how lost you appear. I hold out my arms, not solely to release forgiveness, but to pull you close and whisper that you still belong. Refuse to let shame drive you away. That sensation does not proceed from me, for I sow peace, not dread. If a feeling urges you to cower in terror of me, be assured it is not my voice. My voice always coaxes you nearer, delicate yet dominantly loving, enticing you out from darkness into my light. Let my grace speak to your every shortcoming, my remedy for every form of brokenness, and my constant invitation to the wanderer. Accept the forgiveness I have been ready to lavish on you well before you realized you needed it. Stop waiting to be good enough. You can never earn my love, but you don't have to. You only need to be sincere with me, letting the pure truth break each invisible chain that has enclosed your spirit. I have already forgiven you, fully, unreservedly, because my love is thorough. My grace is living, never worn thin by time, never limited by the scope of failure, and inexhaustible, no matter how many times you stumble. This grace surpasses your shortcomings. Even if you deem yourself beyond hope, I will redeem everything. This grace transcends your anxieties. Even if you shudder at the future, know that I am the one who supports you, possessing each second, now and eternally. This grace endures beyond every storm. It is the unmovable anchor for your soul. Engrave this upon your heart. There is no act you have committed that my grace is incapable of purifying. No utterance, no failing, no past error can diminish my love. And since my love stands immovable, you have no need to disguise yourself from me. In truth, the very instant you feel unworthy is precisely when you are most in need of me. If you approach me, then you will find I never left. I have always been waiting, arms wide, not with condemnation, but with limitless affection. The moment you lay bare your misdeeds and embrace my forgiveness, old things begin to recede and new things emerge. Not in a grand, single moment, but in each gentle, grace-filled step you take. I will show you how to let go of remorse for hope, I will instruct you in loving yourself, not from an egoistic viewpoint, but as I see you. I will guide you in extending grace to others in the same manner I extend grace to you, completely, abundantly, and without reservation. Grace that truly renews, beloved. After embracing pardon and rising in my embrace, permit me to guide you deeper into grace's true nature. Many misunderstand grace or misuse it, considering it an all-access pass to remain unchanged. That is never my plan. Grace is not a covering for errors while the core remains unmoved. Grace is not reason to linger in darkness, but a grand doorway into the light, a light radiant enough to overhaul your entire being from within. Fix this firmly. Grace is not consent to persist in sin, but the enabling force to conquer it. I provide grace not so you may avoid accountability, but so that you are filled with heavenly might, to release yourself from bondage and step into a calling befitting the label, Child of the Most High. Grace does not lower expectations. It lifts you upward, enabling you to meet the standards that once felt beyond your reach. Always remember, my kindness is not a justification to suspend your transformation. I do not want you merely to accept forgiveness and then proceed as though you have never encountered me. Authentic love always incorporates an invitation to growth, to change. If you truly carry my love in your heart, it will push you to abandon whatever offends the one who sacrificed everything for you. When you awaken to my love, you will no longer want the darkness that wounds my heart. Holiness will stop feeling cumbersome, becoming instead your joy and deep longing to be like me, the one who drew you from obscurity into his light. Yet recall, choosing holiness does not mean you will never falter. Rather, you will never again face these battles alone. My spirit will equip you from within, warning you before you veer off, comforting you when you perceive inadequacy. This is the operation of grace, active not just when you trip but even before, and especially to keep you from falling again. My precious, I have not tasked you with a life of extremes, blazing today, cold tomorrow, faithful at one point, compromising at another. I did not form you for instability, vacillating between trust and impulsive overindulgence. No, I have called you to be firmly established, laced with reverence, making daily decisions to be wholly mine. The uprightness I invite you to is not coerced by your effort alone, but brought about by your oneness with me. When you remain in me, immersed in my word and guided by my wisdom, righteousness becomes your natural expression. Do not resist change or fret that you are unable to follow what I ask. I know precisely where your limitations lie, and it is I who will finish what I've started in you. Your only requirement is a receptive heart, one that pleads, Lord, mold me for your delight. You will not be deserted along this journey. Each time your heart sags, I will raise you up. Each time you think of quitting, I will remind you of eternity's perspective. And each time you choose to stand up and follow anew, heaven bursts with gladness, because my child is learning the depths of grace. So, dear one, do not view grace as a curtain to conceal mistakes. See it as the flame refining you, pushing back every shadow and revealing the radiant being I intended from the outset. Someone no longer fettered by memories of failures or regrets, but free to pursue their assignment in the brightness of truth. My call to you is one of purity, not from a stance of a slave place-hating a master, but as a treasured son or daughter, continuing to mature and mirroring the one who grants them breath, walking in majesty, in virtue, in the divine grandeur bestowed upon you. Understand that selecting holiness delights my heart, yet it also becomes a beacon for the people around you. Your everyday deeds, your smallest words, your moral choices when nobody else is watching, each sows seeds in the eternal soil, generating incorruptible fruit. So, child, live in righteousness fueled by grace. Let it serve as the impetus lifting you from stasis, the revitalizing breeze stirring your soul. Do not remain unmoving while I call you further. Do not persist in old habits while I open an entrance to something fresh. Step into the uprightness I have set before you, confident, obedient, and brimming with love. You will find that living each day in holiness awakens you to a sense of genuine life, true liberty, and lasting strength. For I, the Holy One, have chosen to dwell within you. Awaken to each new day. Now that your soul has been uplifted by truth and forgiveness, has illuminated the hidden chambers within, I beckon you to move forward, not quaking with fear or indecision, but with anchored joy. Even if your eyes do not yet see the unfolding road, you have no need to survey the entire path to trust me, because I am the path. I am the light showing the way, the solid footing beneath you at all times, through each season and transition. Proceed, not because everything makes sense, but because you recognize my presence beside you. I am not some distant, abstract notion. I am vibrant, surrounding you, upholding you, accompanying your every tiny moment. Raise your hands in uninhibited worship, not because every question has an answer, but because you are safe in the Creator's arms. Lifting your hands is not merely a gesture, it is the stance of a spirit wholly given over. Looking upward is that instant you tear your gaze from what is fleeting and focus it on what is eternal. My cherished child, my very essence, encompassing holiness, affection, and splendor, overshadows you. Do not assume I move solely in headline-making miracles. Often, I operate quietly, steadily, weaving through the threads of seemingly ordinary circumstances, those moments the world overlooks. In each breath you draw, in every beating of your heart, in each discreet choice you make absent human observation, I am dynamically at work in hidden ways. No single fraction of your life escapes my all-seeing eyes. All your movements, all the order you attempt, circle one overarching purpose: for you to partake in the abundant goodness I appointed for you prior to time's beginning. Child, open wide your heart to receive the entirety of the life I have offered you. Its joys, its tests, and even the extended silences that seem unending. These elements reside in my hands, each shaping a reality grander than your current understanding. I have never meant for you to live small, spinning in anxiety or sorrow from past wrongs. I, the author of your destiny, have crafted a masterpiece brimming with hope, depth, and meaning, surpassing all previous imagining. Realize that no stride is wasted, not one tear worthless, nor any cycle meaningless. Each challenge you endure, be it stretched out days of weariness or nights of daunting darkness, is employed by me to refine your being. I am not only your savior, but the meticulous potter, patiently molding you to reflect my nature, one that radiates my compassion, my righteousness, and my brilliance within a realm overshadowed by hopelessness. When problems surface, be slow to presume my distance. Actually, it is in the furnace of difficulties that I place myself nearest. There you are reshaped, not just to cope, but to shine. The fires you encounter do not signify punishment, but serve as the process of purification, revelation, and fortification. The cracks, the places where you see weakness, I do not simply erase. Instead, those very cracks become channels through which my light beams all the more gloriously. Do not face tomorrow with doubt-filled eyes. Look forth with faith. Remember, I walk ahead of you, I stand alongside you, and I will be right there at your journey's conclusion. Your days lived under my plan draw you ever nearer to the purpose I ignited in you. If your circumstances now appear incompatible with what you once believed, be assured you are still in the middle of my narrative, and I, the divine author, never inscribe hopeless finales for those who love and rely on me. Hence, child, progress with unwavering resolve. Maintain hope that does not falter. Extend love fearlessly, refusing to let potential hurt stop you. I, who shaped you, continue writing the loveliest chapters of your story, fulfilling my promises precisely when the time is best. Not too soon, not too late. Remain steadfast, be valiant, living each day as one profoundly loved, distinctly assigned, and divinely steered by my sure hand. Allow every step you take to testify that even without seeing the complete picture, you choose belief. That faith shall guide you to the destination I have prepared, a dwelling of overflowing life, the realization of your purpose, and the moment where you see that all I accomplished was rooted firmly in my affection for you. My adored child, quiet your spirit right now and absorb the words I breathe into you, not from some remote, indifferent being, but from the one who is perpetually close, never aloof, always brimming with tenderness for every aspect of your existence. For I am not merely the maker of all, but also your steadfast refuge, your divine resolution for every worry heavy on your mind. Your family, your aspirations, and even what you fear has been lost forever. I am more than a scriptural promise. I am reality in action. I am with you in your breaths and strides, even when you fail to sense me. Nothing in your life is too tangled for my grace or outside my dominion. No anxiety confuses me. No inner chaos disturbs my tranquility. I, who know all, saw every twist in your life's route before it came. And at each bend I have previously furnished the answer, gathered the support, readied myself to clasp your hand, guiding every single move. Hold this truth. No load you carry outweighs my infinite capability. Not a single tear you release is wasted on me, nor a sigh ever passes my ears unnoticed. When you feel overcome by quiet anxieties or as though you are holding on to a burden that exceeds your ability, I call you to pause. Let go of bearing it alone. Come where the world's clamor diminishes, where you will not meet condemnation, but outstretched arms and gentle comfort for a soul starved for rest. Approach me not boasting of accomplishments, but with sincerity of heart. I do not cherish you for what you can produce, but because you are mine. My presence does not insist on flawlessness, merely honesty. When you draw near, I will not pile heavy dogmas on you, but cradle you with the tangible nearness that saturates every corner of your being. Each breath, each invisible wound only you notice. Child, your family never escapes the scope of my compassion. Even if there is discord, conflicts left unresolved, or deep-seated problems troubling your loved ones, trust that my hand still moves, quiet but omnipotent. I have heard every hope-laden prayer you uttered on their behalf. I noticed every moment you chose silence to uphold harmony. I witnessed every tear you discreetly shed from feeling powerless. I speak to you this day. I hold your entire family in my palms overflowing with affectionate care, protection, and unshakable security. Nor is your future undone or knotted just because unforeseen developments or old failings stand in your way. I, who can never be outmaneuvered by failure, maintain the route. Even if you suppose your missteps have irreversibly set you off track, be assured, I always know the way home. Your destiny remains governed by my unstoppable love and flawless insight, never confined by human ability or overshadowed by prior wrongs. Place your destiny in my hands, and let me redraw the blueprint in harmony with my heavenly artistry. So, my child, do not tremble before tomorrow. Refuse to interpret your present struggles as evidence of my disregard. Whether or not you discern my nearness, be assured that I keep every part of your existence in my grasp. Each thought, each prayer, each pulse. I am there amid your confusion, even in the unvoiced truths you cannot put into words. And I do more than hand out answers. I am the ultimate answer. I am not solely your helper in adversity, but the solid base under your feet at all times, not just when you are frail, but throughout your entire journey. Let me be the one you run to first, not the place you land after all else has crashed. Allow me to guide you, not merely be the cry you lift when lost. If you walk in that guidance, you will uncover a supernatural serenity beyond normal comprehension. Steadfastness birthed not by ease, but by the recognition that my living spirit walks this path with you. Beloved, in a world full of clamor and countless distractions, I beckon you into tranquil waiting, so you can truly sense the gentle cadence of my heart singing over you. That rhythm never breaks, never grows silent, and forever resonates with an endless, unalterable love. This love is not contingent on your achievements, nor does it rely on success or error, and it will never waver when you make mistakes. It is a love not confined by borders, terms, or limits. I never demanded that you become blameless. I did not require you to earn my favor. You need not perform mighty works or ascend some lofty level of goodness to be welcomed. I have known you from the outset. I anticipated both your triumphs and your disappointments, yet still I selected you, speaking your name tenderly. The only thing I desire is a genuine heart, a being that yearns for me, even if exhausted, uncertain, or empty-handed. Your simple longing is enough to draw me even closer. Come, not wielding your own power, but in humble surrender, not carrying evidence of your worthiness, but unveiling a heart that whispers, Lord, I can't do this alone. I never reject those who sincerely cry out amid their frailty. I open wide my arms and pour out comfort and healing. I intend to fortify you, not just outwardly, but with a fountain of life rising from your core. I will soothe your weary soul with my Spirit's breath, like a gentle rain on scorched ground, like the first morning ray shattering darkness. I will reinvigorate the spirit within you, that part which is shriveled under lingering burdens, that part hardened by hurt. In that once withering place, I will cultivate new growth, energizing you not just to rise, but to burn again with conviction, with expectancy, with heartfelt commitment to the truth and to the one who ransomed you. I will not merely mend you to keep you going. I long to give you an abundant life, overflowing in jubilation, immersed in the lavish blessings of heaven. Therefore, my child, persevere in your faith. Do not surrender your most vital treasure just because your circumstances look grim. Do not let this world's negative voices overshadow my words. Do not let fear pry your fingers off the very truths I am still steadfastly upholding. Stand steadfast on the bedrock of my word, preserved in Scripture, promises I have verified by my unwavering fidelity across centuries. Every word I declare is an immortal seed. If you cling to it, if you rely on it, you will live to see those promises fully blossom at the appointed time. Bear in mind, I am never one to speak flippantly. What I pledge, I accomplish. What I begin in you, I fulfill. I am not a mortal whose intentions shift, nor a dreamer offering promises without intent. Focus on this truth, and you will watch as I abundantly pour out on your life blessings greater than you dared request. Blessings of tranquility, insight, connections, open doors, and a renewal of what you presumed was beyond restoration. Dear one, seek me from your very core. I do not shield myself from those who honestly pursue my presence. On the contrary, I wait precisely in those inconspicuous pockets of everyday life. If only you slow enough to experience and savor that I am unfailingly with you. In so doing, I will bring you into wholeness. No, not human-defined perfection, but completeness as I see it. A heart conscious of my love, my pardon, my leading, unburdened by dread or blame. I will give you a fresh spirit, a mind cleansed of pessimism, a heart delivered from uncertainties, and thoughts infused with the brightness of hope, spiritual acuity, and boldness to move ahead, even when the road remains blurred by morning mist. No longer must you wander in foggy indecision. I will bring you clarity in what I proclaim, and serenity as you advance in faith. Fear will be dispelled when my word dwells richly in your mind. Doubt will weaken when you habitually bathe in my presence. Moment by moment, you will come to realize it is not by your own effort that you stand firm, but because I dwell in you, shaping you, steering you back to the identity for which I originally fashioned you. So continue seeking, keep clinging to faith, continue absorbing my love as the air you breathe, crucial for each day. Soon you will see, I will redeem not only your past, but transform you into an emblem of my grace, affirming to all that none are too lost for me to reclaim, no desert too barren for me to flood with life. For I make all things new, and my love never wanes. Indeed, you, yes, you, are forever the focus of that love, a prayer of contrite hearts and restoration. Now lift up your prayer to me from deep within. You can pray along these lines. Lord, I come before you repenting wholeheartedly for the unguarded words that, though unintentional, caused anguish in someone I truly cherish. I meant no harm, yet I now see that neglecting the soft voice of your Spirit led me into fault. Please forgive me. Lead me to discern the Holy Spirit's whisper in every word I speak. Grant me wisdom to restore the damage and a humble spirit to initiate reconciliation out of genuine love. Lord, I admit I delayed when you urged me to act, missing the chance to be your vessel in someone's life. Forgive me for surrendering to convenience instead of following your holy prompting. Mold me into a person who responds instantly to your call, a soul eager to serve the moment you speak, so I might truly collaborate in your design. Lord, please mend the relationship that now feels strained by the unintended harm I inflicted. Offer me another opportunity and guide my words to ask for forgiveness. Soften the wounded heart and allow your love to flow through me, repairing what has been fractured with sincere peace. Lord, I acknowledge every choice is tied to consequences. I do not seek to elude them, but I turn to you for fortitude. Let me face them with courage, learning every lesson you have in this. May my stumbles form the basis of a more thoughtful and devoted life, one reflecting deeper love for you. Lord, I thank you that your mercy prevails over judgment. When I fail, you never turn away, but extend a compassionate hand. I approach you now, not claiming personal goodness, but trusting in your loving nature. Cover me in that mercy, renewing me within the refuge of your presence. Lord, wash me of unrighteousness and refresh my spirit. I have erred, yet my heart longs to rise again to please you. Create in me a renewed spirit, grace-filled and guided by your Holy Spirit. Lord, grant me a sharpened awareness to identify your voice among the many others clamoring for attention. I do not want to dismiss another subtle prod of your Holy Spirit. Keep my heart attentive and submissive, never diminishing what may appear minor, for now I comprehend each faint instruction from you holds eternal significance. Lord, fill me with humility to recognize where I've gone wrong and the boldness to make amends. Steer me past shame or pride, empowering me to act in pure love for you. I trust that even in small steps of obedience, you will accomplish incredible purposes in my life and in the lives of those around me. Lord, touch those bruised areas in my soul where I have wounded myself through defiance and insensitivity. Pour the oil of your comfort into every part of me, disappointed by my own shortcomings. Grant me peace, the peace that ends torment, ushering in wholeness from your endless compassion. Lord, I cannot live pleasing you without the grace that sustains me. Extend grace not only for absolution but also for genuine change. Let it instruct me to walk uprightly, to speak kindly, and to be promptly obedient, so my life stands as a living witness of your power to redeem. Lord, I resubmit my entire life into your care. My beloved child, what you've just received was not the closing of a chapter. It was my hand gently turning the page. I did not speak to you today only to heal your heart, but to awaken your purpose. Return here often, where my voice will continue to meet you, word by word, breath by breath. Let this channel be your upper room, your sacred well of living water in a dry land. Subscribe, not to follow a personality, but to follow the sound of my spirit. Turn on your reminders, not for updates, but for encounters. Share this message with those silently breaking under burdens they don't know how to carry, and come back with expectation, because I'm not finished restoring you. This is only the beginning. Amen.